the IPO Hawk. The objective of this channel is to enable the viewers to take an informed and an educated decisions on the various upcoming IPOs in the Indian share market. So in this video we are going to analyze the Gland Pharma IPO. So we will go into the details of the Gland Pharma and about the company. And it was established in 1978 in Hyderabad. It has a global footprint across 60 different nations across the world. It has got 7 manufacturing facilities in India, and it was acquired by Pharma in 2017, and it is the major stakeholder in this firm. And coming to the what part, the company mainly operates in the B2B space with tie-ups with leading pharmaceutical companies, and it develops, manufactures and markets complex injectables. It is one of the niche players in the injectables segment. In fact, it doesn't have any peers in the Indian sector, so which is going to be its greatest strength. So let us understand about the latest controversy that is associated with this Gland Pharma. As we all know, of late there has been a huge anti-China sentiment, and we will see how that is related to this IPO. And if you have a look at the screen, you can see the holding pattern before the issue of this IPO, which says that the majority, that is 74% of the shares, are being held by a firm called as the Pharma. The Pharma Singapore is a subsidiary of the Shanghai Fosun, which is a Chinese firm. So the Chinese firm is the major shareholder in this firm. So that's where all the controversy has come from. And so that is one of the key hurdles that this IPO needs to cross, overcoming the anti-Chinese sentiments. And if you have a look at the other shareholders, we have the Gland Celsius, which has around 13% of shares, and other financial institutions like Empower Trust, Nilay Trust, and others complete the rest of the shareholding pattern. So through this IPO, the major players are trying to offload a certain percentage of their shares, and that's why this IPO has been floated, wherein the Fosun Pharma Industrial Private Limited, which is the Chinese firm, has decided to offload around 1.9 crores of shares, followed by the Gland Celsius Biochemicals, which is planning to offload 1 crore of shares. It is a fact that around 3 crores of shares are going to be offloaded by the major shareholders, and the rest of the small players or the minor shareholders like the Empower Discretionary and the Nilay Discretionary Trust are going to offload a few shares as well, but not significant, but still around say 55 lakh shares they are planning to offload through this IPO. Earlier we had a look at the pre-issue holding pattern. Post the issue, Fosun Pharma still will be the major shareholder, but its share will be reduced from 78% to 58%. The Gland Celsius holding pattern is also reduced to just 6% right now, and the others percentage has significantly increased to 32%. That's wherein the new players and the institutional buyers will come in the picture here. So you might ask me a question: so why should Fosun Pharma and the other major shareholders try to reduce their shares? And we will have a look at the reason why they are doing so in the next slide, wherein we will be looking at the objectives of this IPO and the reason for which they are deallocating their shares. So these are the IPO objectives. First, to finance the incremental working capital requirements, they need more funds, and hence they are decided to deallocate their shares and go to the public. And also they need fund for capital expenditure requirements, and finally to meet other general corporate purposes. For these reasons they are requiring funds, and that's exactly the reason why they have decided to float in this IPO and reach out to the public and seek for more funding. Now let's have a look at the IPO details. You can have a look at the IPO date. It's between November 9th to 11th 2020. So if you're going to decide that you're going to buy it, I think you have to do it by end of the day today. And the listing date is November 20. This is a lot system, so applying on the last day will not in any way affect your chances of being allocated the IPO. It's more of a lot process, and if you have the luck, you will be getting the IPO. So it's based on a chance rather than on any kind of logic like first come first serve basis. So that is the thing. So the issue size value is around 6,479 crores. This is the highest valued IPO which has been floated in the history of the Indian pharmaceutical segment. So it's a historical IPO, and the IPO price right now is between 1490 to 1500 per equity share. Let's go to the lot size and price. And minimum, you need to apply at least one lot, and the lot contains of 10 shares. So that means that the minimum amount which you might need to invest here is 15,000 INR. At max, you can buy 13 lots. That means you can buy 130 shares. That means the maximum cutoff is 1,95,000 if you are going to go for the full allocation. So as you saw in the previous slide, today is the last day for us to apply. As I told earlier in the video, this is exactly why I have made this video on the last day, so that we can get a pulse of the investors and try to see if we can take a cue from their sentiments and try to leverage the insights so that it will be beneficial for us. And as you see the overall scenario at the end of yesterday, that is the 10th of November 2020, and you can see here the original IPO size is around 3.02 crores equity shares, out of which the bids have been received only for around 65 lakh equity shares, which means that the subscription percentage is only 21. If you have a look at the other IPOs in this COVID era, most of them have been oversubscribed. But this, on the other hand, due to some reason, the subscription percentage is pretty much low. And you can have a look at the different types of investors percentage as well. Have a look at the retail individual investors, which is called as the RII. The subscribe percentage is just 14.3. So if you need to understand what is the difference between all these investors, the retail individual investors are those who are applying for shares less than 2 lakhs INR value. So you and me will be coming under the retail individual investors, unless of course we decide you are going to invest more than 2 lakhs. So any individual who is going to invest in less than 2 lakhs INR value is going to come under the retail individual investors. If one decides to buy the shares more than 2 lakhs, and then he will fall under the non-institutional investors, or they are called as the high net worth individuals. So that percentage is 2.3%. And finally, we have the qualified institutional bidders. Those are, as the name suggests, those are the financial institutions, the mutual funds, the government financial sectors, and the other players which are being recognized by SEBI and which are being registered by SEBI, more importantly. And that subscription percentage is also kind of not encouraging. It's around 21%. The interpretation which we can make from on these stats is the fact that there has been a kind of a lukewarm response to this IPO due to various reasons, which we will be trying to analyze in the SWOT analysis. So now let us try to do a SWOT analysis of this IPO. And first, let's see the strengths of this IPO. And as said before, this is a strong B2B player in the complex injectable space, and this being a niche market, I think Gland Pharma is a unique player in this market, and it doesn't have any competitors in this sector. So it is a niche player in this market, and its profit sharing model is really efficient, and it protects the firm from market volatility. This company has got excellent financials, and it has generated around 30% return on capital, with its operating margin remaining at 41%, which is best in the Indian pharma industry. And you can also have a look at other key financial metrics, and it is not lagging there as well. So its financials are pretty much excellent. And the most important thing is it has got an unblemished regulatory track record. As we all know, the pharma industry and the pharma segment has got stringent measures and a lot of regulatory bodies, and the various firms needs to confine itself to the stringent standards. And there has not been a single instance where Gland Pharma has been found out by these regulatory and the auditory bodies. It is a process-driven firm, and it has got all the checks and the balances in place in terms of audit requirements and statutory requirements. So it is in a good place with respect to that. And also it has got a long-standing manufacturing pedigree, and as I told earlier, this company has got no listed peers that engage in a similar business, and it also got an extensive vertical integration. So these are the strengths of Gland Pharma. And now let's see about the weaknesses. And as discussed earlier, the anti-Chinese sentiments is one of the leading factors for this IPO to be undersubscribed for the past 2 days. If that was not enough, there were media reports doing rounds that Satyam founders hold a significant stake in the company. So that can be categorized as weakness, considering the historic reasons. And then the issue is fully valued at the issue price, which means that the price has already reached the peak. And as we all know, the fundamentals of share market is to buy during the trough phase and then sell during the peak phase. But right now, when the IPO has been issued, it is in the peak phase. That means that it will not grow further. So there is little room for future appreciation, as the shares are valued at 30 times its financial year 20 earnings. So it has kind of peaked. So you might not be able to see any kind of increase in the price for the next 6 to 8 months, or probably even a year. And next, if you have a look at the price earning ratio, it is around 39.4. If you take a look at the price earning ratio or the derived earnings per share, it comes to around 39.4. And if you're going to compare this, there is a problem, because as we stated earlier, there are no listed peers or competitors for Gland Pharma in this space. So what we can probably do is try to compare this PE with the PE of the pharmaceutical industry, which is around on an average around 38. So with that PE, it is kind of slightly overvalued as well. So these are some of the few weaknesses of this share, which has really made it to be undersubscribed until now. Now, moving on to the opportunities, Gland Pharma is expanding its manufacturing footprint across the globe, and especially it is trying to expand into the Chinese geography, and that's the beauty of this. The weakness can sometimes become the strength and opportunities as well, since China is the second highest market for the injectables. So it's a good opportunity for Gland Pharma to expand into the Chinese side territory, and it has also got a promising pipelines in the high entry barrier injectable segment, and it has got a strong pipeline of filed abbreviated new drug application, which means that it will be able to file more patents with respect to the regulatory bodies like FADA, etc. It has got a long pipeline, which will really yield a lot of profit and revenue to the firm. So that is a good opportunity for this firm in the near future. And also the abundant positives and tailwinds from the pharma sector. Pharma sector is one of the few indispensable sectors. So irrespective of the situations and the various external factors, this sector will always be growing and strong. So I think that is one clear opportunity for an investor if he decides to invest in this sector. Moving towards the trend, I pulled out a few stats of the import and export pattern of Gland Pharma, and it says that 33% of raw materials are getting imported from China. So any potential geopolitical tension could lead to volatility of this stock, and that is the first threat. And secondly, with respect to the exports, 66% of the company's total revenue are from exports to the United States, and with the imminent change in the government, I'm sure that the economic policies of the United States will change, and that can potentially impact this stock as well. And now it's a time for the verdict, whether you should go ahead and buy this IPO or not. And so here comes the Ops verdict, and it says that if you are looking for a listing gain or a short-term gain, then this is a no-go due to the various anti-Chinese sentiments and the COVID repercussions, and also the change in government in the United States. So all these point to the fact that the listing gains will not be there. So if you are looking for listing gains, I think you must not go for this IPO. And even if your investment plan is for short term, you better not opt for this IPO. But if you're looking at a long term or a medium term, wherein it's between let's say 5 to 6 years horizon, I think you can certainly go for it, because pharma industry's performance is not going to dip. So that is a good thing. So probably your investment plan is oriented towards a long term goal, then surely I think you can go ahead and opt for this IPO. And having said that, I would also request you to clearly read the red herring prospects and try to analyze and research on the financials of the firm. I think I have done my work, but still I think since it's your money, the onus lies on you to cross-check these details as well and make an informed decision. I think this video is more like a guideline which will enable you to take an educated decision, but at the end of the day you also need to do a research and come to a firm decision, because at the end of the day it's all your money, and you're putting money at risk. So I throw a disclaimer at this point of time that you need to do your own research as well before investing your hard-earned money. So with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope you found this video kind of insightful. I will be doing continuous videos on other IPOs which are going to hit the Indian market. There are some exciting IPOs like the Burger King, LIC, and Railtail, etc. So these are going to be exciting times for the IPOs after the kind of a lukewarm period wherein there are almost no IPOs for certain period of time. So please do subscribe to my channel without fail 100%. Till I see you in the next IPO analysis video. This is Raghav signing off. Thank you very much for watching the video, and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.